Ado William Bembeke Sosi Jr. Dashina. Adashi he did a Western Lil. Diju Kwai Nasha, Chaco Canyon National Monument, Holia. A core a Kadikwa Bahanaki Aya, Bohonezo, Nika Nahara, Nika Otla, Adhanet Bitabatis. Dikwa has Aniki a Belagana Katuko, Yechi gave Popo Benito, what I'll wait at treasure.
The Navajo stories of Chaco Canyon and the Great Gambler serve the purpose, like all indigenous oral histories do, of contextualizing not only historical events and interactions, but also lessons and behaviors, sort of parables that come from those oral narratives. And in the great houses of Chaco Canyon, the Navajo people that lived in and around them had names for each of them and had oral histories about events that took place at each of those places, And the Great Gambler stories reinforce in Navajo culture this idea that materialism and excesses of wealth are frowned upon.
Stories told by the Diné, by the Navajo people. They talk about a figure known as the gambler.
Na olbi hi wuliende shi kwa borande jina ako hot out nahaga din hanaki bedit.
It chronicles and references the use of slavery. The Nawitbihi, the great gambler, he would win everyone's possessions through these games and races he would have. And eventually people lost everything they had, even the clothes on their backs.
So with the people enslaved, the gambler then put them to work building these massive great houses that we see in Chaco. He had really become filled with hubris, enslaved everybody, and he was no longer respecting the holy people who had given him this charge. So the holy people, the deities, then created a twin of the gambler. They sent this twin down, and he looked identical to the gambler. They sent the twin down, and he started challenging the gambler to his own games.
Ado jihotiyin has ande the hotzadan didn't
The gambler loses at all of his games, with the hero aided by various animals like the bat and other creatures, and the gambler was defeated. The people then were sort of calling for let's kill the gambler, but the gambler twin, the new gambler, said, that's not how I do things. That's not how we're going to do things anymore. That's more of the way of the old gambler. So instead, they take the gambler and strap him onto a magical bow and arrow. And he was shot up into the sky. And in many versions, it's told that he landed back in the south. As he's flying through the air, the people heard, "Adios," or other white man's words, or Spanish or English. It's said the gambler was not seen again in the Southwest until he returned as the god of the white people.
I look back at the last 4 years in this country and I go, oh yeah, the gambler, he came back. And we love it, wealth. Everybody is wealthy, everybody's successful, everybody's happy. That's what we want, right? We all want this to be great. We want to be the greatest country on earth, right? It's a great selling point.
The gambler story serves as a teaching tool, a reminder how the mass accumulation of materialism and goods has served us and the planet. And we see these events happening now that are reflected in the stories about Chaco Canyon.
Hade ita hata sitting ita behani at the hotza a banana di could hand bit of it. A code a hot ashibonet that he ba hayaniki that he can't say you as aniki at the hout in Nasa to bonets and that you need a hotza.
The real history, as preserved in the Navajo oral histories of the Great Gambler, speak to a definite hierarchical paradigm. if we look at them in the lens of historical account and not, cute myths and legends, they definitely portray the ancestral Pueblo past much differently than Western archaeologists have rendered it thus far.
What happened there is the end result of greed and capitalism. And I see a lot of parallels with our modern world now, that even though we who take care of the land can ultimately see what's going to happen, most people, as long as they're doing well and they have money, don't see that.
The real history, as preserved in the Navajo oral histories of the Great Gambler, speak to a definite hierarchical paradigm, a time when elites and nobles were in charge of the world and using knowledges to their benefit.
They just built up, and there were leaders on top and just pulling everybody with them, and it was just too much. I mean, there's only so much you can promise. After a while, it's just too heavy. Those promises topple.
I love our oral stories for at least warning us about it. And I find it strange now that even though we were warned about it, a lot of us are guilty of following what they did at Chaco.
They just said, you know what? Awesome, you guys are burying yourselves in all these shells and turquoise, and we're dying out here. We're beating each other to pieces. Let's go somewhere else. Except, where do we go? There are 8 billion of us.
And when the system collapsed, they were left without the ability to feed themselves.
They get hit with a drought, they keep it going for a while, but eventually the wheels come off and the commoners vote with their feet and they all leave.
The impact of a changing climate leading to overshoot affected the ancient peoples of the Four Corners region. It is projected that by the year 2100, the human population of our planet will double. We are asking too much from Mother Earth. We are not her only children, but we are her most petulant and most demanding. She has always given us what we need, but our incessant desires may be more than the planet can handle. Someday, a thin layer of organic debris may be our only contribution to the geological record, and conceivably a radioactive layer at that.
Sometimes I hear a screaming in my ears, a roaring sound, and I think it's the sound of our civilization skidding off the rails. And so when I hear that roaring, I think, oh, this is a warning, or maybe this is just the sound of being human. Last January, I was visiting a rock art site in Utah, and it's I think about 40 shield figures, so people with shields and weapons. They're petroglyphs, but then they're painted also, so they're painted red. So you see all these shields lined up, and you see the weapons raised behind the shields, and it's kind of a daunting sight. This is large-scale conflict. It looks like troops, and that was on January 6th that I was there, and so it was the day that people stormed the U.S. Capitol. And when I got back from that, I went to my friend's house in Castle Valley, Utah, and heard the news, heard what happened, and saw the pictures of police with shields, rioters hitting them, and my mind is going back to this panel of people with shields, people ready for blood or conflict or protecting the homeland or whatever it was. And just going, wow, we've been doing this for a long time. We really haven't come that far. That yeah, our technology has changed, so much has changed in our world, but we're still these people who change in moments of violence, maybe through this transition of technology and change. We're going to have to relearn how to be people on this planet. But then I also think there's more to it. I think that we also want things to be preserved. We want life not to be destroyed. So I think we're a yin and yang species. The fact that there's protected land to some extent, the fact that we've got some trees left, that to me says, okay, so we're working on this. We have an innate desire to conserve or protect. And we're just kind of bouncing between these two, which is maybe what humans are. Creation, destruction, creation, destruction. That's how I feel about it.
Black holes will bend the proudest ones and change up your symmetry. Just as the night swallows the sun, I know you'll come for me. Rest now, child, the day is done. The dark comes for everything. Inside the heart of everyone,